Grocery prices have gotten out of hand, but that doesn't mean you should have to spend an arm and a leg to build your dream body. In this video, I'm breaking down how to shop for foods that you need to lose body fat and gain muscle at the same time, all for no more than $10 a day. But if you're new to the process of recomping, it could be a daunting task. That's why I've put together a free body recomposition master guide that will give you the step-by-step roadmap to getting to your goal physique even faster. You can grab it with the link in the description below. Protein is a building block for making gains, especially while losing fat. You'll need enough of it for your body to fuel muscle growth, and if properly selected, allows you to eat the most amount of food possible while using the least amount of calories. We'll place plenty of focus on carbs and fats as well, but they're much easier to budget while staying healthy and macro conscious. So how do we shop for our protein sources while keeping our calories and price point low, but our protein intake high? That's where I came up with my own system for shopping to maximize protein per dollar. I'll give you a great example on how this works for budgeting. Let's say you want to buy a jug of milk and you're faced with two choices. Option 1 is a store brand skim milk, and option 2 is Fairlife's fat-free milk. Upon comparing the labels, you'll notice that the store-bought milk contains 8 grams of protein per serving, and the Fairlife milk contains 13 grams of protein per serving. So you'd probably think that the Fairlife milk was the better choice here because it has more protein per serving while matching the calories that the store brand milk has, right? Well, here's one thing to take into consideration. The Fairlife milk costs $4.99 and contains 63 grams of protein, making it yield 13 grams of protein per dollar. And then on the other hand, the store brand's milk costs $1.39 and contains 64 grams of protein, which makes the total protein per dollar 46 grams. That's 33 grams of protein per dollar more than the Fairlife milk. Making changes like this is what allows you to build your grocery list to maximize your fat loss and muscle gains, all while keeping costs super low. Now that you know you need to look for the most amount of protein per dollar, what are some examples that'll make your body recomposition journey even easier? My favorite protein source, whether it's for fat loss, building muscle, or both, are chicken thighs. Chicken thighs are inexpensive, contain a reasonable amount of dietary fats, which are also needed during this process, and they're also low calorie while keeping protein high, but most importantly, the protein per dollar checks out. Since we're shopping for the week or even two, buy in bulk. This drives the cost per pound down even further, and it saves you trips back to the store. You can just freeze whatever you don't end up using by the expiration date. As far as macros go, the chicken thighs that I buy contain 130 to 140 calories per 4 ounces while boasting 22 grams of protein. At the time of purchase, they cost me only $4 per pound, meaning that if I wanted to eat 12 ounces a day for 66 grams of protein, that 12-ounce serving would only have cost me $3. And say you're crazy and don't like chicken, or just want variety because unlike myself, you're a rational human being and can't just eat the same thing every single day, even if on paper, it would make your life a lot easier. So what else can you eat on a budget to maximize your gains? This one isn't as glamorous and might take some creativity to be able to fully enjoy, but canned tuna is an absolute steal when it comes to protein per dollar. It's also extremely lean and rich in protein. The average can of tuna in water is about 90 calories with 20 grams of protein. I can get away with paying 89 cents to $1 per can, and if you're able to buy in bulk, you'll save even more money. You don't have to eat it right out of the can though. Leave that to degenerates like myself. If you value your sanity and want to enjoy your food, cook it up with some lean vegetables and make a salad with some super low calorie and cheap condiments, like this mustard that can be purchased for only a couple of dollars. Another cheap 0-calorie condiment that's worth looking into is a basic vinegar-based hot sauce. Look for bottles that are about $2 or less and only have 3 to 4 ingredients at most. You don't need an $8 bottle of sriracha maple syrup hot sauce, but damn, that does kind of sound good. But anyways, you could find some of my recipes for body recomposition in my free school community, Muscle Truth University, which you can join with the link below. There's also a misconception that eating canned tuna can be particularly unhealthy because of the mercury levels. The best way to counteract that belief is to find a tuna that has a high selenium count, such as albacore. Selenium removes a lot of the mercury found in canned tuna, so the more the better. And if you're still super paranoid, I did some additional research and found that with big box stores, Aldi's albacore tuna was found to have some of the lowest mercury count as far as canned product goes. It's slightly more expensive at about $1.89, but contains an additional 8 grams of protein per can, so if you're on a super tight budget, you can make 2 cans a day of that stuff work for you. But let's say you want to eat 3 cans of tuna per day of the cheapest kind possible, that puts you at 60 grams of protein for only $3. So far, our total amount spent is $6, and we're already at 126 grams of protein. With 126 grams of protein, you have most of your protein goal taken care of, assuming you're an average build like myself and shoot for 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. But we still need one more thing to round off our protein intake for the day. So what could that be? This one could be slightly more expensive than the others, but with how much protein you've already gotten, plus the tag-along proteins from our other macro sources coming up, you'll only need a couple servings of this stuff to be golden. And that is plain non-fat Greek yogurt. They usually sell for about $4 by me at the lowest and contain a total of 85 grams of protein, making the total protein per dollar over 21 grams. I personally love this one because it has so many applications. You can eat it on its own with some seasonings and condiments, use it as a replacement for salad dressing for your chicken and greens, or even mix it with some whey protein if you're feeling bold. The best part is, if you get the ratios correct, you won't even be able to tell it's plain yogurt. If this video gets over 100 likes, I'll drop a follow-up video to this one with some recipes I've created with my paying clients using these exact foods. If you want it to be a lot sweeter as a non-negotiable and don't mind adding some processed BS to your diet, you can optionally throw a sweetener packet in there. The best part is, you don't even gotta buy this stuff. You can just grab some free packets the next time you find yourself at a coffee shop, restaurant, or convenience store. You don't gotta pull off a GTA 5 level heist and clear them out, but no one's gonna rat you out for taking a couple extra packets here and there. 2 servings of this yogurt puts you at 34 grams of protein for only $1.60 to $2. Those 3 items will cover all of our protein, which is going to be the majority of your diet and costs, putting us at 160 grams of protein for less than $8 a day. What can we do with the remainder of our budget though? Well, we gotta eat some carbs and fats on top of our proteins. Don't stress too hard about hitting a certain number like with protein, just fill in the gaps with whatever calories that you have left. For example, our chicken thighs already contain a decent amount of fats per serving, so if energy is something you struggle with on a regular basis, we'll focus a little bit more on carbs. But they're a lot cheaper than most fats, so for the sake of this video, and most importantly your wallet, that's where the emphasis is going to go. Remember, our goal here is to lose fat while gaining muscle, so to make this as easy as possible, I would highly recommend staying away from calorie-dense carbs like rice and pasta. Now yes, foods don't stunt fat loss, and excess in calories is what does you in. But wouldn't you agree that if you wanted to lower the margin for error and be able to eat as much as possible without going over your calorie goal, the goal should be less calories, not more. That's why the cheapest carbs I recommend the most for body recomposition are going to be canned or frozen vegetables and canned or frozen fruits. Not only are these easy to stock up on and store, but if carefully selected, can be super low calorie while also being high in important micronutrients. We have a couple dollars left on our budget, so here's what I'd recommend buying to get the most volume per dollar. For vegetables, go with either spinach, cauliflower, broccoli, zucchini, squash, or asparagus. If I had to pick one, you can't ever go wrong with properly prepared broccoli. For fruits, any frozen berry is a great choice. They're super low in calories while being filling, and if you want to save the most amount of money per serving, buy the biggest bag that you can and buy whatever is currently in season. If I had to pick just one, strawberries are by far the cheapest while keeping calories the lowest. So now you've hit your protein and calorie goal while staying at or under $10 a day. But what the hell are you supposed to drink given that you'll be over budget buying literally anything? It's actually quite simple, but it involves a very small investment up front that'll pay for itself in less than a couple of weeks. You should be drinking at least half of your body weight in fluid ounces per day, but to be honest, a gallon a day never hurt anyone and could help you keep your appetite at bay and allow you to eat a smaller volume of food per meal. How can you do that without buying jugs and cases of water like an absolute madman? It's really quite simple. Remember that investment I was talking about? It's literally just a kitchen sink water filter and a refillable water jug. Up front, it'll cost you around $30 to $40 for both, and eventually the cost of replacement filters. But it should be an absolute no-brainer that this method will save you hundreds a year on store-bought water, and maybe even $1,000 or more if you like to spend $3 to $5 on a bottle of premium water from the corner store. By now, you should have a solid idea of what it takes to eat to lose fat while making muscle gains, especially if your goal is to save as much money as possible while doing it. This process can be kind of daunting for a beginner, as everyone is different and no two plans will work optimally for the same person. So if you want to build muscle while losing fat at the same time and want to skip out on all the trial and error that could potentially lead you to wasting even more time and money, you can book a free private call with me using the link provided below. It's just for me to see if I can help you, and if I can, we'll come up with a game plan that could be implemented either yourself or working one-on-one with me. I look forward to working with each and every one of you.